Let's get right into this. Welcome to this NRTS 1v1 cast. I guess the intro can't have its time right now. This game is getting off to a quick start. We have myself playing as the blue commander on Hidden Valley versus I Exploded. Probably the most competent opponent that I had in Saturday Smackdown. You'll notice my opening is a bit strange. I have gone and upgraded one of my farms, which sacrifices $25 for an extra 5 eco. So in the beginning of the game, since you have $120 to spend, I usually spend 50 to upgrade CC, then, there's going to be 40 reserved for the 4 CC farms. And so then you have $30 to spend, and you can, most of the time I end up making 2 militia, which spends 18 of those dollars and gives you some money so that you can then go and build 2 more farms. But you can still upgrade that farm, not build militia, and then have enough money that one of your workers can make a farm and your other worker can start walking out to a further farm, and then by the time you get the money you can go and do that. Orange already has a militia on my side of the map, and he's getting 2 more in the middle of the map. I'm just gunning for his farms, trying to harass them. Since he's got a bit of a militia lead, he's got a space advantage, which he really should try to keep. But he doesn't, and that's fine. Sorry, if some of the commentary that I am doing seems a little bit scatterbrained, I did just do this whole cast and realized that my microphone was off. So this is take, I think, 4 of this cast. Thankfully it's not a very long one, so I have the time to be able to go through and do it again. It's still annoying though. He's got 1 militia attacking my farm right now. I've got 3 defending it. Even though he's doing a lot of damage to it, it's not gonna fall. And he's gonna lose a militia for that, so I'm happy. He's pretty much on his side of the map. I'm expanding out towards green and taking the farms at yellow space. He hasn't expanded nearly as aggressively with his workers, which means that I've got a lot more farms than he has. I'm also in his base pretty aggressively, like, shooting away at his farms. He's gone and made a tower on the high ground up there, which I am very happy to see. Initially I was going to walk in with a couple more militia and harass his farms, but he's decided to put a tower. I'm now going around and trying to walk through the other entrance to his base. But yeah, he's basically saying, okay, I want the high ground. I want to defend this high ground. This is my high ground, which is fine. He says, I want red space. I want my base, I want red space. That's completely fine by me, because if he's got his base in red space and doesn't contest green or purple, then I've got 4 CCs worth of map control, and he's got 2. Even if there were no other farms on the map, which there are, and most of them are in the center, which is not on that high ground, I'd still be at an advantage. So I'm very happy about this. He's got his militia kind of in a loose formation right now, which is really good for me. You can see I was shooting at 3 of his militia with like 6 of mine. Of course, I end up trying to do this again and screwing it up just a little bit. I end up losing a militia. He's lost a militia, but he's got other damaged militia, and I've got a good formation going on. I'm basically just taking better engagements where all of my guns are firing and not all of his are, so even if we have even numbers, I'm taking less damage than he is. That's what that maneuver was. Whenever practical, that's pretty much the goal. Is put yourself in a position where all of your units can shoot at their units and only some of their units can shoot back. It effectively turns what would be an even fight into a smaller, not even fight. He's slowly expanding down towards purple now. He's building a tower to help defend his territory, which is fine. Kind of just lightly pressuring with militia here. I'm not really expecting to get much done, just if I can't shoot at one of his militia with my massive tower, then I'll be happy with that. Just go ahead and wiggle around a little bit. I end up getting a militia without losing one of my own, so I'm happy. I think at this point I've noticed that his tower doesn't cover that whole high ground ramp, so I can walk in with some militia and actually get some stuff done, which is great. I'm building a vehicle depot because I've got map control. I'm pretty confident that I have a higher eco than him. I can match his militia production. Building this structure isn't going to put me at all behind, and it's going to give me a tech advantage that I can use to start crushing his militia. Recons might be one of the few units in the game that actually cost-effectively trade against militia. They definitely time-effectively trade against militia in terms of you can build 1 recon in the time it takes to build 2 militia, and 1 recon very beats 2 militia. Of course, 1 recon's $40 and 2 militia is 18, but even so, 2 recons can take a pretty good fight against 8 militia, especially if those militia aren't well grouped, and the recons can decide when they want to fight and how they want to fight because they outspeed the militia. So you basically get to take fights on your grounds that are pretty effective, whereas the militia aren't doing very much damage to you. The recons are just tearing into them. So overall, even if we were in a pretty even position, if I had recons and he had militia, I'd be pretty happy. But I've got militia, he's got militia, and I'm adding recons. I think my army outnumbers his right now. I can't say that I know that for sure. At least during the game, I definitely was not checking, but I've got so much of the map. I've got places to expand. I've got workers still making farms, and he's basically stuck. I own more of the map. I've got way more farms. I'm happy. I'm still struggling to spend my money a little bit. And honestly, instead of queuing 3 recons, I probably just should have made a tank off the bat. I queue up 2 more recons, which I probably should have instead after that house was built with my worker over near Purple's base. Gone and made a second vehicle depot just to help spend some of this money because my eco is really high for this point in the game. At any rate, I've got recons up. He's gonna send his units over to try to take some stuff near Purple's base now because he notices that I'm pretty heavily focused on greens. I think I end up sending a recon and like 3 militia over. Yeah. But then I'm looking at this tower right now. I'm like, I've got 4 recons on the map, 3 recons in a place where I can really use them. A massive ball of militia. I can push this tower. I can kill it, and then I've got militia and recon fighting militia, which is really good. And of course, he's got a tank out now, but that tank's a bit late to the fight. He's lost so much of his militia before this fight's even begun, and now I've got an army. I've got some recons that aren't taking tank shots because my militia are taking them, and his tank's gone, and his army is now pretty much gone. He might have some fighting units still on the map, but it's not going to be enough to stop 11 militia, 3 recons, with an extra 2 recons and a tank following in behind. So yeah, I've got map control. He sells CC. That's a GG. That was a very entertaining game, mainly because I got to fight against early game militia pressure, which apparently hasn't been that popular in the 1v1 series. I don't know why. Militia aren't that expensive. You can still make other units while you make militia. It just gives you something to do in the early game besides move your workers around and sit around on your bum, just twiddling your thumbs, waiting for the eco to come in. Yeah, ultimately I think the biggest thing though is that his vehicle depot was in a position where when that tank came out, it wasn't able to join the fight. I guess he was betting that I would try to come in by Purple, but he's got a whole bunch of static on Purple's side, and he only had 1 tower over near Green's side. So I was just in a really good position to capitalize there, and I did. I took a pretty solid fight around that tower. I lost a couple militia before that, but like losing 3 militia, I still got the recons, which means that I've got the tech advantage. I take a crushing fight, and that's just that. He's got no army. I've got an army. I win the game. Thank you very much for sticking to the end of this cast. It's a bit of a shorter one compared to the like 25-minute slugfests that were the first 2 casts on this channel. I hope it was greatly enjoyable. And I hope to see you next time. Have a wonderful day, and remember, stay classy.